Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Machi Living. Just a little bit about the channel. Machi is the spiritual shaman, female or male, of the indigenous Mapuche people in South America. The biggest communities live in Chile, and they are the caretakers and the spiritual wisdom and the spiritual healers and the healers of the community, of indigenous communities. So this is where the channel gets its name from, which I told a little bit about in the introduction. And today we have another pick a card reading, and the topic I would like to focus on is advice on emotions and relationships. And for this we are going to be drawing three piles. So let's see, let's have 3 cards for the 3 piles. Advice on emotions and relationships. I felt called, inspired to talk about this today. So it kind of came out of the blue in the morning in my mind. And here I am recording the reading. So 3 cards. 3 cards, please. I don't normally reveal the cards until the reading, so you're gonna have to pick without seeing the cards themselves, listening to your intuition. But what I will add today are these little cotton balls from the cats. And so we have light blue, turquoise or light green kind of color, and dark green for the 3 colors for you to pick as pile 1, pile 2 and pile 3. And of course the color coding is matched with the heart chakra, which is the green color, and the throat chakra, the blue color, which is going towards communication and clarity. So relationships, love, communication and clarity are the energies that I intended to infuse the cards with. So let's pick the cards for each of the piles. We'll pick some oracle cards and we'll pick some tarot cards as well. Pile number 1, 2 and 3. What we'd like information on is advice on emotions and relationships. And I will put this here as an extra because it seemed like it wanted to come out. So these are the 3 piles and the cards for the 3 piles. I'll give you a few seconds undisturbed, just in silence, to look at the cards to make your pick, and then we'll start with pile number 1. All right, so pile number 1, welcome to your reading. The topic we are focusing on is advice on emotions and relationships. And you picked the light blue cotton ball, which already tells me a little bit about communication and clarity. So the main card is enjoy the journey, wandering path. Hopefully you can see it like that. Oracle cards first. So we also have letting go. I surrender joyously to the ebbing and flowing of life. Letting go. It's just one moment. Just to have a little bit more light for the cards. And enlightenment. And there is kind of an ebbing and flowing in this card as well. You can see it's a boat or a sailboat. And the sail is kind of reaching to the sky. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Full moon in Capricorn. And we also have forgiveness. It's reaching for the sky in both cards. So the first idea I get is it's not to be so tough, to try to be, whatever the situation is, try to be a little bit more trusting and release a little bit. Whatever it is that you'd like to happen, try not to be so focused on it. Just enjoy the journey. Reach for the highest good, for what you want, but also let go and go with the flow to reach that destination. Let's look at the tarot cards. Ace of Swords. It's a lot of thinking, a lot of calculating. And I think that is the end of a top cycle that needs to release a little bit, to allow. And there is a lot of fear. There is a lot of fear in this relationship. Whatever this relationship, there's a lot of fear of heartbreak. So it makes me think of romantic relationship. And a person who is trying to achieve the happiness in this relationship and the love in this relationship through calculations and plans, because otherwise there is a fear of heartbreak, and maybe that is not the best approach. 9 of Wands. It's been quite a tough journey, long journey, but there is perseverance. Queen of Wands, and there is a lot of passion. This was an extra card. The King of Swords. It kind of feels like there is efforting from both sides in the relationship. Ace of Pentacles with the cross in the middle. It kind of feels like a situation of, it makes me think of a hospital emergency situation. The Magician, the Star, and let's see, we need a little bit more space, don't we? Here, 10 of Wands. I kind of want to put them this way. Is a Queen of Wands. There is a feminine energy and there is a masculine energy, and both of them are trying really hard. And there is this movement between having faith and trying to make it work. And actually, having faith is the best approach. Letting go. Letting go in a way also, not just letting go of efforting in a relationship, but maybe also letting go of the relationship a little bit. Like sometimes we all need to walk our own path and take our own time, and and then we can come back together stronger. And that is not a problem. People generally think that a relationship is about coming together and staying together and making things work together. But sometimes, and actually maybe not sometimes, maybe all of the times, we all need to work on ourselves, heal our own selves first before we can come together. And sometimes the coming together happens and it creates a mirror. It shows our own weaknesses. The other person shows us our weaknesses, and we do the same. Don't think that the same doesn't happen. The same happens, whether the other person admits or not. And we both reflect back each other's weaknesses. And a really good thing to do is to then go and work on these weaknesses. If you can do it together, but loosening the tightness of the relationship a little bit, that's okay. And sometimes the two people need to walk a little bit different path and then come back together. And faith is needed for this. There is a saying which is, sometimes faith isn't about what we can see, but it's about what we cannot. And it's having that faith that the relationship is meant to be. And it will happen no matter what. And coming together that way is much more loving, much more healing, much more positive. There is either a lot of fire or there is this coldness in this reading within the relationship. And you can see like kind of the magician and the star, they both represent wholeness and having faith. And you can see that they are completely different energy from all these cards on the top, except letting go. And then all these cards, and even this card. Although there's the possibility of healing. Like what you need to be working on, each of you, is healing. To create this positive energy and make the relationship happen because it needs to happen, because it's the right time for it to happen, and not because you are making it happen. And that will be a completely different feeling and a completely different relationship, because in that case you come to the relationship with this inner peace, with this inner knowing that things are okay. So even when you experience difficulties, you will endure and you will always choose each other, because in your heart you already worked things out and there is peace. And each of you maybe need to forgive previous relationships, other people, walk a little bit a path of enlightenment before you can come together, and that is okay. Enjoy the journey, because everything is going to be okay. Like, this relationship for sure is not lost. It's just the approach, the way you both approach the relationship that needs to be altered, that needs to be changed a little bit. Not everything needs to be known. You have to take a leap of faith. You have to walk a path, a journey to an inner enlightenment, to then bring your positive energies together. Because also there is this, like there is the sun. You can see that the sun is there, but still this person has these wands and carrying this weight. And and it creates this blurriness and turns its back to the possibility of the sun coming out. So it's time to drop the weights. It's time to release, to let go, and to walk a slightly different path in life, a path that is more about faith, and I don't mean religious faith, although everyone is different. If for you it's religious faith, that's absolutely right, whatever calls your heart, but it's a journey of understanding, of trusting life, and being able to release some of your fears. Because we all have bad experiences, and very often we sabotage our own relationships, our own happiness, because of those past experiences. And it's quite strange, because I mean, it's easy to say, it's not that easy to do. But what is strange is, like, because of those experiences, we sabotage our own happiness. And like all those people who helped us to have those bad experiences, they actually win out, because then you say, well, because of that experience, I'm going to close my heart to protect myself. But because your heart is closed, your relationship will be half-hearted, essentially. You won't be able to love. You will make the relationship, but you're not going to have and be part of that relationship. And that's kind of sad. It can be better. It can be much, much better. An open-hearted, loving relationship where there is trust, where there is freedom, where there is working together on bad things, good things. Problems always come. These kind of relationships are beautiful, and it's worth walking the journey to find this kind of relationship. Yeah. But also the road is not that long, you know. The end of a tough cycle approaches. So with awareness, this release can happen. And you need to, both of you, you need to stand your grounds, to better yourselves, to liberate your emotions, and liberate your fears. And the relationship will come together very, very quickly. So pile number 1, I hope that this has been helpful. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please share, or any stories to add to this reading, or anything that resonated with you, please share in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, like the video if you feel called. And thank you so much for tuning in and watching today. Bye. Hello, pile number 2, welcome to your reading. So today's topic is advice on emotions and relationships, or a relationship. And you have chosen this kind of turquoise, light green little cotton ball, which is related to the heart chakra. and love and relationships, of course. So let's look at your main card. Wise leader. You are a beacon for others. So it kind of gives me the feeling straight away, this card, that this reading in particular might not be about a one-to-one relationship, but more like a relationship within a community, your relationship to people who you are leading and how you are leading, and maybe how you feel about leading. Let's see the rest of the cards. Following your bliss, my soul sings with joy. Stand still. So both bliss and stand still, there is kind of a moment of stillness. It's also interesting that on all of these cards, the person or the animal is solitude. Let's see. You and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer. Let's see the rest of the cards. The Hierophant, which is normally the spiritual leader, the Hierophant as well. Page of Cups. Three of Wands. It's kind of waiting, preparing for something. Temperance, balancing, bringing things together. The moon, being clear and honest, speaking from the heart. So interesting. Single persons. Ten of Wands, something heavy. The Empress, but there is the most positive power and ability to lead. Three of Pentacles, working together, and Two of Swords, moving forward, taking a step, making a decision. So I feel like in this reading, the emotion is about being undecisive or undecided to move forward in leading, maybe in a career matter, and you might be worrying about your loved ones, your family, whether you will have enough time for them, whether you are allowed to move into a leadership position or take a stronger position in leadership at work. And it can be a company, it can be your own company, could be starting your own company. As well, there is a little bit of melancholy, although the creativity, the desire is there is a little bit of melancholy in deciding how to proceed, whether to proceed. And maybe you're telling things to yourself in your own mind that might not be true. Maybe the things that you are worried about aren't necessarily true. It feels like you are disconnected from yourself, like the legs are up here while the person is down here. So I think maybe you need to spend a little bit of time to debug your thoughts. You know, maybe you have a lot of thoughts and it's all concentrated in your mind, and a lot of beliefs, and like the layer of the onions, maybe you need to peel these thoughts back and look at them and think whether they are really true, whether they are really real or not, or it's just a story that you're telling yourself, but it might not be a problem, or it might not be such a problem as you think. There is something inside of you that you want to express. Yet you are standing still. And the thing is that you have, with the Hierophant, with the Empress, and with the Temperance, you have very, very powerful major arcana cards telling you that you can do it. Even your main card is about wisdom, about being a wise leader. And a wise leader is not born in one day. You need to take the steps and walk the journey. And being undecided is also part of that journey. Looking at your thoughts and going through the ups and downs of the process, making mistakes sometimes, but talking to people and correcting those mistakes. These are all part of the journey, and these are all the things that make you a wise leader, because if you become a beacon for others, you can only be a beacon for others if you can relate to how they feel. Maybe you won't understand everything, but the more experiences you have in life and the more you allow yourself to experience with your thoughts, with your emotions, with your actions, the more you will see clearly with what is going on with other people. And you will be able to relate to them, but you will also know that there is the other side of the story sometimes, but also the other side in terms of succeeding. Like sometimes we go through difficulties and dark nights of the soul and very, very hard times, and it is possible to come out of them. And going through hard times, experiencing difficult emotions, difficult situations, even depression isn't negative. It's part of an emotional development. And for example, when you experience depression and you come back from that depression, you actually experience your own power, your own ability to overcome. So it's quite an empowering process. It can be quite an empowering process, as long as it's not out of hands. And going through these experiences will help you to see these things happening with other people, and be able to relate to them and be able to talk to them about the positive outcomes that are very, very possible in each of these processes. So you do need to, the Three of Pentacles speaks about working together. In the traditional tarot, there are normally three people on the Three of Pentacles card working together, or at least three figures sharing ideas, and that is also part, like being a wise leader doesn't mean that you stand alone and you have to do everything on your own. it's interesting also because, you know, sometimes how do I express this? Like, this card for me is very interesting because it talks about allowing other people to be part of the process, but it also allowing your different talents, you know, to come to you in the process. So it's like working together with people, sometimes working together with people, and sometimes working together with your own self, with your own talents, to be able to become the wise leader. Because a leader and a wise person needs to have different experiences, needs to have different sides to them to be able to see life from many different perspectives. And I also love this Hierophant card because look how he's laughing. It's like, you know, sometimes when you're experiencing difficulties and then you have a moment of enlightenment and then you laugh because you're like, oh, this is so, it makes sense. Like, now it makes sense, or actually it's not that difficult. Like, when you have those moments of enlightenment, actually, or clarity, it allows you to see how funny life is, in a way, because very often it's actually quite funny, even though, you know, there are times absolutely when we cannot laugh. But it's also like there's quite a lot of beauty to life, and you know, the pieces of the puzzle sometimes, like, they come together and you're like, ah, now I understand, like, now I know. And this card depicts it very, very beautifully. And also sometimes, like, these moments come when you don't expect it, like you're just relaxing or meditating, or I don't know, you're doing things, and then this moment of enlightenment comes. So this is something that you've been thinking about for a long time, and even looking at it under the like putting it under magnification to try and scrutinize it and decide whether to proceed or not proceed. And you are already proceeding. That's the thing. Even that is part of the proceeding, part of the journey, and you shouldn't be afraid, because everything's going to be okay, and you will be able to be there for people. When you have more experiences for life, you can actually be there more for people, for your loved ones. And you know, sometimes you also need to know that during this process, not everyone is going to come with you. You know, sometimes, like, the people who really love us, they will support us and they will come with us on the journey. And there will be other people whose love is not necessarily genuine, and those people won't come with us. And you need to be able to let those people to go on their own journey as well. And it doesn't matter who those people are and how close they might be to you. You need to trust your own journey, and you need to follow your own calling and follow your own bliss. And don't always stand still. For a while, it's okay, and there have to be moments to stand still, to be able to realize. But realizations also come in moments of being very, very busy. But it's okay. It's time to put the weight down that you're placing on your own self by telling yourself things that aren't necessarily true. Don't stop yourself from following your own bliss and uniting your own self. You need to do that. You need to unite with yourself, and it's going to create beauty in your life and flow in your life, and strength and wisdom also. So, pile number 2, this was your reading. I hope that it has been helpful. If it resonated with you, or if you'd like to share anything with other viewers, please comment. Please use the comment section below the video. Also, feel free to subscribe or like the video if it's been helpful for you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I wish you all the best. Bye. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you've chosen this deeper green cotton ball, which tells me a little bit, I feel deep emotions, very, very deep, very strong emotions, a very strong bond is what I feel. And of course, today's reading is about advice on emotions and a relationship, and I kind of feel like there are a lot of emotions here. So let's look at your main card. Discovering truth. You stand in the light of truth. Maybe a little bit more light like that. Okay. Oracle cards. Let's see more of your oracle cards. Renewing your life. Radiant vitality is filling my life. Discovering truth. Renewing your life. Oh, it feels like a very heavy reading, a very, very heavy reading. Embracing. Oh, it's such a beautiful card. There are a lot of lights and the beautiful view of the sunset. So maybe it's embracing that something needs to end. You need to discover your truth, either the truth of the relationship or your own truth. Your hard work is paying off. Let's see the rest of the cards. Yeah, very, very heavy, very deep thinking. 9 of Swords, sleepless nights, death and rebirth. Yeah, you definitely need to let go of something. Oh, let's see. 8 of Swords, liberate yourself. 9 of Cups, the Queen of Cups. Liberate your emotions even. 9 of Cups, so those wishes can come through. The Lovers, such a beautiful card. 2 of Cups. Wow, there is a lot of love here. The King of Cups, and there is Queen of Cups and King of Cups. There is a lot of, the truth of the situation is that there is a lot of love here. This relationship is very, very strong. But there is the devil. The devil, I feel like what needs to be renewed is how you approach your emotions and your thinking. It's like renewing the way of thinking. So that you can open your life and yourself to this love that is actually in front of you. And you can realize that the things that you're wishing for can come through. It's like a new beginning is needed. And this is not about the end of the relationship. It's about the end of feeling certain way and thinking certain way. Embracing the beauty of life. You stand in the light of truth. This card is very interesting because to me it looks like, a lot of people are trying to give you advice and you should go into this direction and you should go into that direction. But inside of you, there is the truth. You know the truth of this relationship. But you need to discover it in yourself. The intuition, the emotions, the positive thinking about this relationship is a very powerful, very strong relationship, is there inside of you. And you shouldn't listen to other people. Yeah, this reading reminds me a little bit of a twin flame, or what they describe as a twin flame kind of relationship, because twin flames, they said to be mirror souls of each other, and they said to come from the same soul, not the same soul family, but the actual same soul, and they come into different physical existences or different physical forms, but they actually share a lot of similarities. So with twin flames, the interesting thing is that even if you don't know each other, you actually know a lot of things about each other, because you do things very, very, very similarly. And sometimes on the outside, because you had different lives and different experiences, it looks different, but in the nitty-gritty of life, you will realize when you spend a little bit of time together that you click in the same way, and you think, you process the same way. So that is the strength of twin flames and twin flame relationships, that they are very, very strongly drawn to each other. And the emotions are very, very strong. The being drawn to each other is very, very strong, and very beautiful, very, very powerful, very passionate. But they are very, very strong mirrors to each other. So the relationship very often has a stage, what they call the separation. Because the emotions, partially is because the two people are mirrors to each other, but also I would say the other part of it is the emotions are so strong that it's just almost impossible to deal with them, because you don't know what to do. You don't know. I would say it's like a you know, like a when a water is pushing the gates of a bridge or something, and it's wanting to push through, and the water is getting stronger and stronger and pushing harder and harder, and it's very difficult to stand that pressure. So these people very often have difficulties in their relationship with each other, but also the kind of difficulties that they have are generally not like what people expect from having difficulties in a relationship. So when you try to talk to other people about the relationship, about how you feel about the other person, they won't understand. And even you become more confused because you have to start explaining yourself, and then you end up having negative thoughts, and your mind becomes cluttered very quickly. So it's in these type of relationships, it's good to it's good to be careful with who you talk to and who you ask for advice. And sometimes, you know, going to maybe therapy or looking at things in your own life is the best conversation you can have that will help you to move forward in this relationship. But it is possible, and this is exactly what you need to work hard on removing the clutter, removing the voices from people, and even from yourself, the negative voices, and just embrace the relationship, embrace that it can bring difficulties, it can bring beautiful things, and try to change your mind. Try to approach yourself and the relationship with love, what you want actually, because this is your wish and this is your aim too, and it is there, and both of you, not just you, both of you. The relationship is mutual. Whatever it looks like, the relationship is mutual, and it probably doesn't look like it's mutual, I would say, from the cards, but it's not true. Behind closed doors, the situation is different, but hard work is needed to kind of change the perspective of how you look at relationships, how you think about relationships, how you think about this particular relationship and this particular person. And the death and rebirth card is very interesting here as well, because normally people get scared of the death card. In the traditional tarot, this is the death card, but the death card is actually the card of the Scorpio in the zodiac signs, and the Scorpio is a very, very deep deep feeling, deeply passionate, deeply thinking person and or personality, and one of the main characteristics of the Scorpio is associated with the phoenix being reborn from the ashes. So it's the typical ability where you're able to burn all the things that you have, all the things that you, and I don't mean actually burn them, but well, I mean, no, please don't. But to be able to scrutinize everything and be able to change everything whether it's in your mind, or it could be in your surroundings, people around you, emotions around you. And being able to go to the depth, to the root of things, and through the process be enlightened and being reborn again. So the death card is about rebirth, actually. It's removing things and renewing things in life. And that is what you need to do. Renew your emotions, renew your thoughts, renew your perspective. And work as hard as you have to on trying to find the triggers in your life, the triggers that give you these devilish thoughts, because the relationship in front of you is very, very beautiful and very strong. Yeah, don't put the devil in between you, because it's not necessary. There's much more, and there are much more beautiful things. Yeah. And going back to the Scorpio, the death card is like discovering the truth is something, like sometimes looking at your own thoughts is seeing the truth of your own thoughts is not easy. You know, it's not easy to face yourself, to see your own face in the mirror. But it's also a very, very rewarding process, and it will pay off. Embrace yourself and embrace your relationship as well. Embrace your situation, because it came to you, it came to your life for a reason, for a good reason. And you probably, when you remove the clutter, you know that too. Your intuition tells you. So don't be afraid to walk your own path. So pile number 3. I hope that this reading has been helpful for you, and I hope that it resonated with you. Please feel free to comment or share your experiences in the comment section below. And if you liked the video or if you enjoyed the reading, please subscribe, please like the video. And I hope to see you in the next reading. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I wish you all the best. Bye.